you ask me that is it a good idea to lower the tension of the strings to travel, like for example in a long flight overseas or something? Well, answer no, it's not a good idea. And I tell you one thing why. Guitars are designed to have tension all the time. Means, for example, Stradivarius violins, 300 years old. And those who are more valuable are the ones that are still playable now. And how is that they are playable? Well, they're taking care very well on that. And they had the tuning. They were tuned up. You cannot have, suppose a violin there 100 years, it didn't have the strings, and now will you string it up? That's risky, right? Because the thing is that the guitar is designed to have tension all the time. Means, if you keep lowering the top tension, because here, this perfect balance, the equilibrium it has, which is the setting, about the setting, and the setting means the balance and exactness about the top, from the top, the fretboard and the neck, how it's settled, and the bridge. And when these three things are in equilibrium, this is a great instrument. Balanced. Now, when we take off the strings, suppose even for changing the strings, and this is a good question what you just asked, because many people have this misconception that it's okay to lower the tension of the strings for traveling, and they constantly do it, and by doing that you are ruining your guitar. I tell you why. The guitar is designed to have tension all the time, and even when we change the strings, we are supposed to change one at a time. Means, suppose if I will change the basses, which are most commonly changed, hence the trebles last 3 times more than the basses, means 6th, 5th, and 4th. And if I will change one string, I will just take off one string and then put that string, and then take off the 5th and then put the string on, and then take the 4th and then put the string on. I will not take all the strings off, leave the guitar without the strings or with no tension and then put it again. That's a very bad thing to do. To take care of guitars, you need to learn this thing. And this is a very common problem. In fact, well, I will tell you a couple of anecdotes. One is that one time a friend came there, I was with another student, and he came and said, that thing about not lowering the string tension is just a nonsense. Look, I have this guitar, I have leave it without the strings 20 times, and it's perfect. And then he shows the guitar and it was ruined. Like, I mean, this guy was buzzing around that this is a nonsense. I just did it 100 times and nothing happened, and it did happen. So but he was not knowing it, right? Means that's why in guitars, because the tension is necessary, it's part of the life of the instrument. Guitar will be long life also, but you keep the guitar with the tension it has. Why they say lower the strings when you travel? Think about it. And in fact, some so-called knowledgeable people, they also say that. Why? I will tell you what's their argument. The argument is that the guitar goes in the case, then in the airplane, and then if it receives an impact on the case or something, say here, and it cracks a bit, if it has the strings tense with tension as the guitar is, then the crack may grow more, it goes to more. And then to avoid that, they lower the strings. That's a big mistake, because every time you are taking off all the strings, even to change the strings, you change it one at a time, one and one, one and one. You don't take off all the strings and then put it on. That's not good. And why they do that is that if it receives an impact and it cracks, then if it has tension, the crack will grow more. Well, that's true, but why you are supposing it will be an impact and it will crack? It never happened to me, for example. So this is not going to happen in regular circumstances, of course, right? So the thing is that by doing that continuously, you are creating an artificial thing on the guitar by taking off and in and off, so it's in, out, this tension. And this is making unstable the thing. It's not a good idea, because a guitar that has its setting and it took its shape properly, and I have guitars from 20 years old, 15 years old, any age, which have been always tuned up. All those violins, Stradivarius, that were tuned up and still are playable. They do not lower the strings to put it on the shelf of the museum or wherever they are. No, that's why they are so valuable, because they are still playable. It means they are tuned. And they be kept tuned for 300 years. Nothing like the strings will affect, or no. Like other friend told me, there is one guy and he asked me that, well, my guitar is bending, and I notice it is bending, so every night I lower the strings, and then only when I play it, I again tuned it up. So that was ruining the guitar, really. And the less possible means if it happens once or twice, or the guitar needs to be fixed or refracted or that, then you do 2 or 3 times, this thing will not happen anything, right? In a proper instrument. But if you keep the guitar without, having the guitar without the strings, for example, like one person just 3 months ago or something, and they asked me, because it was another friend who asked me this thing, and what he did is leave the guitar, like he was changing the strings and he forgot about it, put the guitar in the case without the strings, and then 1 month after he has to go traveling or something, and then when he came back he tried to put again the strings, and then it was a lot of problems because he didn't take care of humidity levels. Humidifier is enough to, if you don't control this with the hygrometer precisely, to be on the average of 45% humidity level. It may ruin the guitar as well, that. So he did 2 mistakes: not control the humidity in a very dry weather, and leave the guitar without the strings. So of course everything alters there. It alters the instrument, it ruins it. It can void the warranty even of the thing. So that's why also I said, when people will ask me, well, should I buy this guitar on eBay or a used guitar somewhere? Well, I said no, because why? I don't want you to get into trouble by getting a guitar that you don't know how it was being taken care of. How was it? It's enough to have this, just this small thing about changing the strings and taking it off and on. In 2 months you can ruin the guitar if you do that like this, right? So most of all of it is a high-end instrument, right? Like these ones. So don't do it. The strings are changed one at a time, and I will post in the description of this video how to put the strings on. One video that has 2 alternatives: traditional, asymmetric, and symmetric way here on the head, and also this thing. And then you do 1 by 1 and no problem. Even if you take this, say, 3 of the strings off, well, that one, but it still keeps, as the bridge works as one unit, even if it has 3 or 4 strings. If it breaks some string 1 or 2, then no problem. Then you replace it and that's it. But you don't take off the tension of the strings on a regular basis or every now and then. No, not at all. No time. Don't do it. And I will post in the description of this video this about the hygrometer also, in case you need to also be aware of that. Control the humidity levels and how to use the humidifier. Very simple device and very simple thing, how to take care of it. And this watch that, and also this about the flight case and that, because there is no problem really traveling. You don't need to lower the strings to travel. Why you will do that? And I suppose, imagine Paco or someone who was traveling there every day to other country and then keep lowering the string. How you will play like this? This is not good, and for the instrument it's not good at all. The guitars are designed to be having their tension tuned in A440, universal A, and should be tuned all the time. Leave it there. If you don't play it, leave it with the string as it is tuned up, right? And then that's what I'm answering you. It's a good question. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.